Hi there, I'm Micah.
I'm Sarah.
We're Mr. and Mrs. DIY. We're just here to chat with you about projects we're currently working on and give you an update on what we're doing right now.
Yeah, so we decided that this time of isolation that I guess we're all kind of experiencing in one way or another right now would be a great time to tackle some house projects. And one thing kind of led to another, and I'm not sure how we ended up starting on the basement because this wasn't really even on our short list.
I think the first thing was before we got locked down, we started cleaning out our basement just because it was
true.
It was a mess.
It's been terrible.
It was
absolutely
a mess.
terrible. We've lived here for over 4 years now.
Yeah.
And we saw this happen in our last house too, which was also a total remodel. As we work on different rooms in the house and you've got overflow and you've got junk and you've got things you're not sure if you want to let go of or not.
Seasons and Christmases and
all
of
that too, just the normal basement stuff. But especially things like extra doors that were going, I don't want to get rid of this because what if I need it? I haven't gotten to all of the rooms in this house yet. I don't know what to do with it. Or in our case, I think word has spread through our friends and family that we will take almost anything free you were willing to get rid of. And so we've accumulated some things that have sat around for a few years that we haven't wanted to get rid of because we just thought, well, what if we're going to use this? What if we're not going to use it? A couple weeks ago, the older two were gone for the weekend. One was at a youth retreat.
Yeah.
And the other took a trip to Grandma and Grandpa's. And so we just had our toddler around. And so we decided to do some organizing.
Yeah, empty the basement and just lay it out there and get rid of what we can. Take it to
we were ruthless.
Salvation Army or any kind of local places.
When those places were still open, thank goodness, because we put down the seats in the back of the van, and I think we had 2 van loads.
I think so, at least. And we still have some kind of...
we could have done more, but at that point we had to go get our kids. Grandma and Grandpa were done. So we went and got the kids, and...
So that was first phase of the basement project.
And thank goodness we tackled it before this lockdown.
Yeah, so I think from there we just decided to, let's keep going with it.
Yeah.
So we planned out our next phase. Just as the lockdown was starting, we decided to go get some supplies.
Yeah, he found out he was going to be home from work for, we assumed at first, just a couple of days or maybe a week or 2. So stores were starting to shut down. There were starting to be regulations about where you could go and what you couldn't, what stores could be open and which ones couldn't. So very quickly we did a run to, I think, Home Depot and got a 5-gallon bucket of white paint. And then what did you buy for all these canned lights that we have here?
I bought...
We didn't used to have those.
I bought 2 contractor boxes of 6 pot lights each. And then I bought some light bulbs to go with it. And 100 feet of 12-2 wire just for wiring. Because originally this room only had 1 bulb at the bottom of the stairs and 1 bulb in the middle of the room.
And that little tiny window that you see back there was blocked off with, what was it, plywood or something? I don't know why. It's been like that since we moved in, and since we were just using this for storage, we didn't get around to doing anything about it.
There used to be a tree out there. We took that down the other year, so that's let in a lot more sunlight, which is nice. And it's also kept the water from coming into the basement, I think, as well.
We would occasionally get just a little bit of moisture in the basement here, but changing some of those things on the exterior of the house has seemed to take care of that, thank goodness. So we got the lights going, and he did that first. It took you not too terribly long, maybe a day and a half.
Yeah, a couple days.
And we should also mention too, I think this basement had been semi-finished before we even bought it by the previous owners. Our house was an estate sale, so we didn't have a property disclosure. We didn't have the chance to ask owners questions about, what they were doing. Were they in the middle of something? Were they not? This room had paneling and outlets and HVAC in it.
And partial drop ceiling.
Yes, there was a partial drop ceiling that looked like it had been ripped down for one reason or another. I don't see any evidence that there was ever flooring down here. The concrete floor was painted, but that's all I can see that ever happened for the floor. And like I said, it looked like, I don't know if they'd had water damage or maybe they just started a project and didn't finish it, but half the drop ceiling was missing. There was a piece of paneling missing. I don't know, it just looked very kind of half torn apart. But the walls, the studs, the electrical was all there, so that's something that saved us a lot of time and money.
Sure, yeah. We just wanted to paint it, put some more light in here, and I'm trying to think what the next step we did. Electrical.
Well, we talked about the ceiling, because we were thinking we would just make this kind of like a rough rec room where we could put some of the kid toys that we homeschool, so we try to think of things they can do inside during the winter when the weather's not good. Kind of almost like an indoor playground, but we're not going to go crazy and like, we're not going to do swings and that kind of thing because I don't trust our children not to end up in the emergency room if we tried that.
Yeah.
But we wanted to have somewhere they could like roller skate,
You
jump
just
rope.
pad the walls. These are running circles. Pretty much.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But so initially we were thinking, well, let's just do this as cheaply as possible. Just make it bright enough and welcoming enough that the kids aren't thinking of it as the dark, scary basement that they don't want to be in. And so we talked about just painting the exposed ceiling. We took down the rest of the drop ceiling. We just didn't care for it, and we lost a lot of ceiling height. It just felt like it made the room darker and heavier.
Yeah. Yeah. It really lowered the ceiling another
And you needed
6
to take
inches or so.
You probably needed to take it down anyway to do all those lights, right?
Well, some of it, yeah,
Yeah.
but it was just those metal beams everywhere. It was just kind of hard to.
Yeah.
We didn't need it, and I don't like drop ceilings anyway.
Yeah.
And it does make the room feel smaller, I think.
I agree.
So,
So we were just going to paint. We had that 5-gallon bucket of white paint, and we thought, well, we talked about buying a paint sprayer. We looked into renting one, but again, as things were shutting down, you can't just go rent something, and it seemed like paint sprayers were a little harder to locate for rentals. So instead we thought, well, you know what, we've got a couple weeks at home. It looks like with nothing to do, we'll just paint the ceiling with a brush. And then as we were down here running the electrical and looking at things a little more closely, we started thinking, I don't want to have to paint every little nook and cranny with a brush, and it's going to need multiple coats.
It's all raw wood and
Yeah.
old, and some of it's a little dingy. And
I'm thinking, oh my word, like my arms are going to be really tired and sore. And we knew too, this kind of project is just going to take up a lot of time. Do we let the kids just kind of run around down here while we're doing that? Then they're going to want to help, and we're going to have paint all over the place, and kids that want our attention, and we're up and down off of a ladder. It just started sounding like a really great way to have an argument, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. So then...
Good way to exhaust us as a family.
Exactly.
But not necessarily get that much done.
Yeah. And so at this point, too, we were really trying not to go to stores because that was the advisory, or the advice in our state was to just not go to the store unless it was absolutely necessary. But we realized Home Depot delivers. So we started talking about what we'd want to do for the ceiling instead and decided to go with drywall.
Yeah.
It really... I don't know why I had it in my mind that was going to be like a big expensive project, but once I priced it, it was
just to get half inch drywall up there, just to cover up the beams, brighten up the room, something we can paint. And I was like, yeah, actually, there's nothing that we need to access as far as pipes or electrical. You know, there's the typical electrical stuff here, and there's one spot over there that there are some pipes, but we can leave that open for access if we need to. So we figured, yeah, might as well just do that. And I've done drywall before. I know what I need for that.
Yeah, if we had a leak, it would just be like anywhere else in the house where you could potentially get a leak. You rip out the drywall, you deal with the leak, you patch the drywall and put it back. So we decided that was probably the best bet, something we've done before and we're comfortable doing, and really not that expensive. And it would give it a nice finished look, especially with the pot lights that he installed. So we ordered the drywall. It took about a week to come, and then I was looking and I realized I was going to have to pay, I think it was like an $80 delivery fee to have anything delivered. That was just kind of the flat rate that I saw. And so we started talking about, well, are we going to want to stop there? What else are we going to possibly want to do to this room? We should think through everything we might possibly want to do over the next couple of weeks and make sure we put it all in one order so that we're not paying that delivery fee multiple times and we can stay out of the stores. So till it was all said and done, we ordered drywall, we ordered crown molding, we ordered baseboard outlets, because the outlets in here are like 3 different colors. You needed some more electrical stuff. We needed a light fixture for the stairs. Oh, and then flooring.
Flooring is the biggest one.
Yeah. So we decided, really, if we're going to do all of that, like we've done everything to make this a finished basement except for flooring. So in our old house, we had done the wood look vinyl where it's just like peel and stick.
Just the 1/8 inch, I think, just really thin.
Really skinny, like you can cut it with scissors.
Yeah.
If you can do stickers, you can do this type of flooring. And it was only $1 a square foot. So initially I thought, well, I'll look for that because that's really basic. The kids can still roller skate and do messy crafts down here and all those kinds of things, but we can have it look a little nicer. And if we ever sell the house, then we can say that we have a finished basement. Like literally 2 days before our state shut down, I had gone to Home Depot and gotten all these vinyl floor samples. And I had one that really matched our existing hardwood floors on the main floor really well. And so as we were looking at all these samples online thinking, man, we've never bought like, you know,
like a floating floor.
A floating floor or something that's a little on the more expensive side, you know, flooring. We've never bought something like that without looking at it in person, but it seemed really dumb to go to the store for something like that. So I looked at the samples I already had and I thought, oh, okay, this is more than, I think it was $2 a square foot versus $1 a square foot. So that is a significant jump in price. And this was the thing that made me really excited about it. It had like specialty pieces you can put on your stairs, because right now we have these really nasty, beat up old wooden stairs that have been painted and scratched up. We had very similar situation in our old house as well, and we got porch paint and painted it and thought that would be great, and within like 6 weeks it was all scratched up again. And it just didn't last. I mean, it was better than nothing, but not something I'd choose to do again if I had another option. So I liked the idea that if we went with this particular flooring, not only did I have the sample, I knew I liked it, I knew it went really well with the floors we have through the main part of our home, but it had like a little edge piece you could order, and we'll have to show you that at when we get to that part of the project, because I'm excited about it. We could really make our stairs look nice, like the white risers and the wood treads, or at least wood look treads, and it would all match. I like when things match. So we decided to just go for that. So we had this huge Home Depot order. Took about a week for things to be delivered, a little longer for the flooring because they didn't have enough at first. And so, yeah, we've just been kind of plucking away at things, and so far we have the walls painted. We let the kids help with that. Have to show a little bit of footage of our 2-year-old painting the walls. He thought he was such big stuff.
Yeah, a 6-year-old writing her name with paint and then having to go back over and clean it all up.
Yeah, there's some dribbles on the walls.
Yeah,
but,
there's some dribbles.
You know, free help. So
that's true.
Get what you pay for.
They were eager to help.
They were, and it kept them busy. This has been such an adjustment for them too. Even though we already homeschooled, so it's not like they had to leave a school setting. It's been a big adjustment for all of us to stay home and not get together with friends and family like we're used to. So it's been really good for them to have work to do where they feel like they're really contributing.
And this is kind of like a new room for them too. This has been, before we started cleaning it out, they had really never come down here.
No, it was so dark and gross.
It was dark, it was full of junk. So now, then like, ooh, we can go down to the basement. It's like, that's good.
They're down here discovering toys that I packed away ages ago that I was ready to get rid of, but just hadn't gotten around to. And now I don't think I can get rid of those toys because they're suddenly in love with them again. And you can see, to give you a little tour of this room, they've already taken over in here. Our kids have this cardboard fort building kit. It's
an official fort now with blankets on top.
Yeah, you can't really see the cardboard because they've covered it with...
Just keeps going and going. You can see all the...
Yeah, those are cardboard panels that attach with Velcro strips. They are so cool. Sometimes you can find it on Amazon, but it was like one of those educational toy companies.
This is all built by our 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Getting quite good at it, actually. So.
Yeah, and I think every pillow in the house is in there right now.
Yeah, that's true. They fill it with pillows and cover with blankets.
But I'm hoping they can roller skate in here.
Because we're also working on a little spot under the stairs just for the kids to play in.
There's this cool closet, and I loved it when we looked at this house. There's this really neat under the stairs closet here in the basement with this small little door, and I've seen so many of these on Pinterest where like they made a window and it became this cute little reading nook or kind of like a playhouse for the kids, and all of that was already here. We just have to finish it off. So that's going to be part of our basement plans too. The kids are super excited about that, but we had to make it kid friendly obviously. And
to rip out some shelves and stuff that were in there.
Yeah, there were some old wooden shelves. They looked like maybe they were for canning jars or something, which is great, but I'll keep my jars somewhere else and we'll give the kids that space since they'd probably just take it over anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, might as well just give it to them in the first place.
Yeah, so we've added some electrical in the little closet under the stairs for some lighting and for some whatever the kids may need for a lamp or
yeah,
whatever.
I'd love to have like some twinkle lights in there or just something to make it cozy and a place they really want to hang out. I don't know what it is about kids and like little cozy spaces, but mine are constantly stealing all the pillows and afghans in the house. And
you can see by this. And there's been a couple things that we've added to our list for this, even for this project. A couple things we noticed was a support in the underneath the stairs here. There's a spot where the steel I-beam goes onto the poured concrete foundation. Part of the concrete had worn away, so it was only hanging on by like 2 inches maybe. So
there was another support in the middle of the IB
yes,
as well.
there's
So
another-
it
there
wasn't
are other
like
supports.
our house was about to cave in.
No,
But
it was just
definitely something you want to address sooner than later.
the total support was only like maybe 4 inches of depth, so
Yeah.
half of it had fallen away. That wasn't that big of a deal, but nonetheless, we decided to re-support that with some 6x6 wood, cut them to length, and slide them in over there.
Yeah, so that's what we've done so far, and obviously we still have a lot to do. I think this next step, now that you've done all the electrical, the next thing will be putting up the drywall on the ceiling.
I think I'm finally ready for that. Yeah, I've got everything that was hanging below the joist. I've got all that cleaned up, pretty much, except for those pipes over there. But
I think we're just going to work around those,
Just
though.
work
That
around
way we
that.
still have access to them.
yeah,
Maybe you have to do a video showing how to hang drywall on the ceiling without an assistant.
that's true. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I mean, I can assist with that, but
Yeah.
he was talking to my dad on the phone, and my dad dropped off a tool that should help with that. So
And if I have some extra 2x4s, I should be able to make a pretty good support for that as well.
yeah,
But it could require 2 people at least to just.
yeah, I'm sure
Get
there'll
up.
still be times you need me, but
Yeah.
again, with 3 little kids, it would be better if we aren't both trying to hang a piece of drywall at the same time when somebody you
Yeah.
know,
But
needs juice or
We have
something.
friends who supposedly can hang drywall on the ceiling by themselves, and I don't know how. So
No, one of my girlfriends.
we should find
She's
out how she does
amazing.
that.
Yeah.
Maybe she can take a video and send it to her. How do you do this? Because that's impressive.
It is. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll get there. I can learn to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
So we need to do that next, and then obviously you'll have to tape and mud and sand the seams, which is part of the process I hate. I've done it many a time, and it's awful, but
Yeah.
it has to be done. So we'll do that, and then paint the ceiling, probably have some more paint to do on the walls, and then really it'll just be the floor and trim,
Floor,
right?
yeah, and the floor is just kind of laid down, peel a strip and stick it to
Yeah, so the
stick it to
floor
itself. I
we-
think.
Yeah, the flooring we had
Pull it,
before,
stick.
it was basically just a sticker. Like, it was sticky on the back, you just stuck it straight onto the concrete, and that was all you really had to do.
There was like a primer to make.
Yeah.
We had to, of course, clean it really well.
Yeah.
Clean the floor really well, and then of course paint down this primer. At least
I don't remember.
I think we
It
did.
might have been a primer. I think there
Yeah.
was. But it was just the cheapest thing that Lowe's or Home Depot sells, and
Mm-hmm.
it was really nice. I liked it.
Mhm.
But this is supposed to be even a little bit better. So these pieces actually have like a sticker tab that sticks out from the side, and they attach to each other, not to the floor. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to see if that's easier to do, or
Mhm.
I don't know.
I
We'll
don't know.
find out. But it looks really good, so I'm excited to do that. And again, the stairs will match, which I don't know. I'm overly excited about that. But I think it'll look really nice.
That would be nice.
So we've got drywall on the ceiling to do. That's probably going to take some time. I would think doing it on our own will probably be at that for a good week till we're completely done and painted and cleaned up from that.
Yeah.
And then we can do some more painting on the walls and the stairs. And then we've got crown molding to put around the top of the ceiling. And then after we do the floor, we've got baseboard we can put into. But I feel like it's going to come together pretty quickly.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you updated.
We'll have to do a total of what we spent here and see, because I feel like even though there's going to be some tedious, annoying projects, I really hate sanding drywall, but I think that's one of those things where we're going to see a good return on our investment as far as like how much value it adds to a house to have a partially finished basement like this versus how much we're actually going to spend. So we'll give you a budget rundown when we're all done and see what we actually ended up spending on here. But yeah, let us know. Have you ever done a project like this? Are you doing a project like this right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you quarantined at home like we are? What are you working on? And do you have any tips for us on remodeling our basement? Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.